Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're embarking on a genuinely mind-bending journey into the rapidly blurring line between humanity and technology. We're looking at a world where the mind and the machine literally merge. We'll be exploring everything from the everyday wearables you probably have on right now to advanced brain-computer interfaces and the incredibly profound questions that follow. Okay, let's dive into this.
I want to start off by throwing this question right back at you. Are you already a cyborg? Now, before your brain jumps straight to RoboCop or the Terminator, just think about your actual everyday life. I mean, if you wear corrective lenses to see, if you wear shoes to protect and modify your feet for an urban environment, or if you constantly heavily rely on a smartphone to remember basic things for you, well, you're already modifying your biological body for your environment, right? We already have this highly complicated relationship with technology that totally blurs the line between me and stuff. To really wrap our heads around this, we can look to the scholar Donna Haraway. As her famous 1985 manifesto points out, a cyborg isn't just some sci-fi villain. It's a very real creature of social reality. Framing it this way helps us see human-machine symbiosis not as some sudden, terrifying leap into the unknown, but actually as a continuous, natural evolution of how we interact with our tools. From a simple wooden peg leg centuries ago to the highly biocompatible titanium and polymers we use today, the human body is surprisingly accommodating to being upgraded.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how our legal systems are completely struggling to keep up with this kind of physical integration. When we look at modern bionic prostheses, ones that can be controlled directly by the owner's brain to grab a cup of coffee or tie a tie, the law is honestly confused. Is this bionic arm a piece of property, essentially just a thing? Or should it be considered a natural extension of the human body? Like, if a bionic arm gets damaged, is that property damage or is it personal injury? Right now, the law mostly treats it like a piece of equipment, but for the person actually using it, it is literally a part of them.
But how do we jump from, say, our external limbs directly into the messy internal workings of our minds? Well, enter brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs. The mechanics are super complex, but they basically break down into three clear steps. First, you have sensors that detect minute electrical signals fired by the brain. Second, deep learning algorithms step in to process and decipher what those neural signals actually mean. And third, those translated commands are used to operate an external device, entirely bypassing conventional biological channels like our nerves or muscles.
Now, I want to be super clear. The current, highly beneficial medical miracles happening with BCIs absolutely cannot be overstated. For patients with locked-in syndrome who have full cognitive function but absolutely zero motor or communicative ability, BCIs are translating their brainwave signals directly into text. It's giving them a voice again. For ALS patients, algorithms are decoding neural signals to power prosthetic devices, which completely restores their autonomy. We're even seeing mind-blowing developments like Neuralink's blindside implant, which is aiming to literally restore vision. We are using machines to heal the human body in ways that we previously thought were totally impossible.
But here's the multi-million-dollar question. What happens when we use this technology not just to heal, but to evolve? This brings us straight into a concept known as the technological singularity. Futurists describe this as the exact point where ordinary humans are overtaken by artificially intelligent machines or by cognitively enhanced biological intelligence. We are hurtling towards a moment where merging our brain data with supercomputers could fundamentally alter what it actually means to be a functioning human being.
This right here is a massive, fundamental shift from medical necessity straight into cognitive enhancement. We aren't just talking about restoring a lost physical function anymore. No, we're talking about upgrading totally healthy individuals to unlock superhuman potential. This includes major military applications, like DARPA investigating BCIs to improve the mental resilience of soldiers. It includes neurogaming, where you're playing complex video games using literally nothing but your thoughts. And it even includes wild early developments like BrainNet, which is essentially a BCI social network that has already allowed people to transmit thoughts directly to each other's brains via cloud-based communication.
As you can probably guess, this kind of power splits observers into two very distinct camps. And I want to lay these out totally neutrally for you to just consider. On one side, we have the ultimate dream of a cognitive utopia, seamless telepathy, uploading our memories to the internet for safekeeping, and actively treating anxiety and depression by perfectly regulating brain function. On the flip side, though, we face a cognitive dystopia, the profound, terrifying risks of malicious brain hacking, severe cognitive fatigue, and a complete loss of personal autonomy if a machine can somehow influence our decision-making. And remember, both of these outcomes are grounded in the exact same technology.
To kind of ground how society might actually react to all this hyper-connected tech, let's look at Samantha Schweblin's brilliant speculative novel, Little Eyes. The book features these cute remote-controlled robotic pets called Kentuckies that are randomly linked via the internet to a human user somewhere else in the world. As the book chillingly puts it, they are here, they are everywhere, they are us. The Kentucky is this strangely familiar yet totally unsettling creature that blends human, animal, and machine into one.
So the novel divides the world into two main groups. You have keepers, who buy the physical robotic device and let it just roam around their homes. Then you have dwellers, who buy an anonymous connection code to voyeuristically control that robot and watch the keepers through its camera eyes. What's so fascinating here is that this technology creates entirely new, strange categories of human interaction. It's an incredibly powerful narrative about surveillance, the unpredictability of strangers, and that universal human tendency to abuse power when we're hiding behind the anonymity of technology.
So, the crucial point is, if we take that whole concept of technological voyeurism back to real-world BCIs, we arrive at a really chilling question. What if advertisers could access your thoughts? Right now, companies track your online activity using third-party cookies to sell you things. We all know that. But if consumer BCIs become mainstream, companies could potentially possess your highly personal brain EEG data. They could track your raw emotional responses, happiness, fear, surprise, directly from your neural activity, basically monetizing your internal thought processes before you even manifest them online. Which literally brings us to a massive ethical tightrope. We have to navigate the incredibly tricky waters of informed consent. I mean, how do you truly consent to an implant when the long-term software implications are completely unknown to us? We have to fiercely protect personal autonomy against the risk of machines subtly altering our feelings or decision-making. And crucially, we really have to address access. Are we looking at a massive societal divide between the ultra-wealthy who can afford cognitive upgrades and the rest of society who simply cannot?
But, hey, beyond the big philosophical debates, there are incredibly tangible physical and cybersecurity risks that medical researchers are intensely battling right now. Just implanting deep brain probes can cause traumatic brain injury or tissue damage over time. The devices themselves can become infected. Furthermore, the neural data must be completely precise and accurate. And because these implanted BCIs often connect wirelessly to broader networks, the risk of cyber attacks is very, very real. Just imagine a hacker gaining unauthorized access not just to your email account, but to your actual interconnected neural data.
To protect ourselves from all of this, our current social frameworks are going to need, well, a massive overhaul. This quote perfectly captures the core challenge. The law, like a good prosthetic, is designed to make a person whole, nothing more, nothing less. But how exactly does the law handle a person who is intentionally more than whole? Legal scholars are already hotly debating the urgent need for neurorights to protect our fundamental freedom of thought and mental privacy from unwarranted brain searches and commercial exploitation.
All of this leads us to the ultimate destination on this wild continuum, becoming post-human. A post-human is defined pretty simply as an individual who possesses at least one post-human capability. When our relationship with computers becomes entirely mental, without even needing physical typing or speaking anymore, we experience a kind of self-disembodiment. We extend way beyond our biological bodies, integrating the computer directly into our actual sense of self. We're talking about fundamentally altering human identity here, shifting from a strictly carbon-based species into a truly hybrid existence.
We've explored the miraculous medical breakthroughs, the admittedly terrifying privacy risks, and the deep, deep philosophical shifts of merging mind and machine. This technology is no longer just science fiction. It is simply a matter of time and a little more refinement. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder today. When the time comes and the technology is proven safe and widely available, if you could upgrade your mind, would you? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the future.